Hello, YouTube. Welcome to Set Free from the Trap Ministry. This is part two about hip hop, glorifying glorifying the criminal mindset in hip hop is not cool. Glorifying the criminal mindset is not cool, and they try to justify it. A lot of men and women who listen to the lyrics in hip hop that glorifying doing wrong in hip hop been going on for a decade and trying to justify it, glorifying the criminal mindset in hip hop is not cool. But so many young men and women think that's cool. They think that's the jam. That's not the jam. That's not jamming. Glorifying the criminal mindset in hip hop. That's not good. Glorifying that life. That's why we're losing so many rappers in hip hop. That's been going on for a decade. The rappers that glorify the criminal life in hip hop and try to justify it to people in the world. Rappers in hip hop, the rappers from the 90s, the rappers from now, the rappers that glorify the criminal life, glorifying the criminal life in hip hop and try to justify it. Glorifying the criminal life in hip hop. The rappers that glorify the criminal life in hip hop and try to justify it. Yes, it's stuff going on in the hood, but glorifying it, that's not keeping it real. That ain't helping nobody. And try to justify it. And people who listen to those lyrics seem to think that that's right. If an album doesn't talk about glorifying doing something wrong, most people won't listen to it. The hip hop from the 90s, same thing. The hip hop from today, it's all the same thing. It ain't nothing new. So, what does the Bible say about glorifying the criminal life in hip hop? What does it say? What does Jesus say about it? He says in Proverbs 12, let's go to Proverbs 12:15. The way of a fool seems right to him, but the wise listen to advice. So the rappers in hip hop who try to justify glorifying that criminal life. Oh, it's rough in the hood, this going on in the hood. But glorifying it ain't gonna make the situation better. It seemed like it's right. It says the way of a fool seems right, it seems right to him. The way of a fool seems right. The way of a fool seems right. Then you go over here to the Amplified Bible and it says the way of a fool seems right in his own eyes, but the wise listen to counsel. There is a lot of foolish young men and women who think that the criminal life is life. That ain't life. Because you heard some rapper that's glorifying that lifestyle. That's glorified in hip hop. The criminal lifestyle is glorified. It's glorified. And a lot of rappers in the music industry try to justify to the people, I'm not doing nothing wrong. We talking about the lyrical content. You glorifying a lifestyle that ain't gonna help nobody. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes. But the wise man listen to godly counsel, listen to Jesus. The foolish, you can't talk to a foolish man or woman. They ain't listening to nobody. We living in a world today where there are foolish young men and women. A lot of young men and women think the criminal is life because they heard some rapper on the digital album glorifying it. So a lot of young men and women they have adopted that lifestyle. They think that's life. They think that's life. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes. A lot of young men and women think that criminal lifestyle is cool. It's not. You can't talk to a foolish man or foolish woman. You can't talk to them. A fool is right in his own eyes. They think they're right. But a wise man will listen to godly counsel. A foolish man ain't gonna listen to Jesus. A foolish woman ain't listening to Jesus. Ride around in the car listening to lyrics that glorify the criminal lifestyle. It's glorifying doing wrong. But you trying to justify and say it ain't nothing wrong with what I'm listening to. I ain't doing nothing wrong. And all that's doing is putting thoughts in your mind. So the rappers that's glorifying the criminal lifestyle and trying to justify it. Ain't nothing cool about being criminal minded, but that's glorified in hip hop. It's so you can get money and trying to justify it. It ain't got nothing to do with no music. You out here telling these people that you live in that way and you not. And you got a lot of young men and women who think that being criminal minded is cool. It's not. It's not, because you hear some rapper pick up the microphone and glorify it. It's not cool. They use the criminal lifestyle, they use the criminal lifestyle to sell records. And look at all these rappers in hip hop dying because they look what they represent. They represent nothing. But the young man that listening to it, he walk around all hard because he think that's life. That ain't life. The rappers that glorify the criminal lifestyle in hip hop and try to justify it. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise man listens to godly counsel. There is a lot of foolish young men in this world today. There's a lot of young men and women who think that the foolishness, they that foolishness, and they think it's right. They think it's right. A lot of young men and women in the world today. There is a way, there it says the way of a fool is right in his own eyes. So there's a lot of young men and women who think the foolish stuff that they doing, they think is right. They think it's right in their own eyes. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes. It's in the Bible. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes. But a wise man listens to godly counsel. There are some foolish young men and women in this world today. The devil is blind in their mind. They're blind to God's truth. They think the foolish stuff that they doing is right. And then they turn on lyrics that's full of foolishness. Lyrics where the rapper is rapping about the criminal lifestyle and trying to justify it. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes. It seems right. It looks right, but it don't last. It don't last. Hip hop need Jesus Christ. I'm talking about a real relationship with Jesus Christ. Hip hop need a relationship with Christ. They need God to change their mindset. You can't talk to a foolish man, a foolish woman. You cannot talk to a foolish man, a foolish woman. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise man will listen to godly counsel. A foolish man, a foolish woman ain't thinking about Jesus. They think what they doing is right. So the rappers that glorify the criminal life in hip hop and try to justify it. Try to justify it to people. Everybody try to justify doing wrong. You're never going to be able to make wrong seem like it's right. Wrong would never be right. Wrong would never be right. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil. That's going on today.
According to church news, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put dark.
The Amplified Bible, woe to those who call evil good. That's what's going on today. The Amplified Bible, woe to those who call evil good. And that's what's going on today. Yep. That's what's going on today. The wrong is celebrated. The wrong is celebrated. They celebrate wrong. Though woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness before light and light before darkness, put bitterness before sweet. So that's what's going on today. Woe to those who call evil good, who call evil good and call good evil, who put darkness before light. That's what people are doing today. So young men and women seem to think that doing wrong is right because it's celebrated in hip hop. Doing wrong is celebrated in hip hop 24/7. Every digital album out there that's coming out today is glorifying doing wrong. I'm talking about the explicit hip hop lyrics. The rappers that are glorifying the criminal lifestyle and trying to justify it. Ain't nothing cool about that lifestyle. It's empty. It seems like it's right. It looks like it's right. But so many young men and women are addicted to that. The criminal lifestyle is not cool. It's not cool. It seems like it's right. It's not though. People get in their car and ride around and celebrate the criminal lifestyle on them lyrics. There is a way of life that seems harmless. It looks harmless. It says there is a way of life that looks harmless. There is a way of life that looks harmless. Again, it leads straight to hell. People appear to be having a good time. It said people appear to be having a good time, but all the laughter will end in heartbreak. So glorifying the criminal life, glorifying that criminal life leads to heartbreak. It don't help. But some young men and women continue to represent the criminal life. There is a way of life. Let me find it. There is a way of life that seems harmless, but it leads to heartbreak. It's hard.
According to Bible.com, there's a way of life that looks harmless enough. Look again, it leads straight to hell. Sure, those people appear to be having a good time, but all that laughter will end in heartbreak.
Yep. There is a way of life that looks harmless. Again, it leads straight to hell. Surely people appear to be having a good time, but all the laughter will end in heartbreak. So glorifying the criminal lifestyle in hip hop leads to heartbreak, and it leads straight to hell. But some young men think that stuff is cool. Ain't nothing cool about the criminal life in the hip hop music industry. There is a way of life that looks harmless. Again, it leads straight to hell. People appear to be having a good time. All the laughter will end in heartbreak. So glorifying the criminal life in hip hop leads to heartbreak. Representing the criminal life leads to heartbreak. I'm talking about the lyrics. That's what everybody rapping about nowadays. Everybody been rapping about that for a long time. A lot of young men think that's cool. That's not cool. It leads to heartbreak. Rapping about the criminal life in hip hop leads to heartbreak. Representing the criminal life leads to heartbreak. Peace out.